Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajakacharya Ashtotara Sata Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shimte Radhanath Santanam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. Okay. We'll begin by reciting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today since we will be beginning a new chapter, we are reading from the 9th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is chapter number 4, entitled Ambarish Maharaj offended by Durvasa Muni. It's a very famous pastime. So, can we begin by reading the chapter overview? Maybe one paragraph per person so that everyone can get.
This chapter describes the histories of Maharaj Nabhaga, of his son Nabhaga, and of Maharaj Ambarisha. The son of Manu was Nabhaga, and the son of Nabhaga lived for many years in the Gurukula. In Nabhaga's absence, his brothers did not consider his share of the kingdom, but instead divided the property among themselves. When Nabhaga returned home, his brothers bestowed upon him their father as his share. But when Nabhaga went to his father and told him about the dealings of the brothers, his father informed him that this was cheating and advised him that for his livelihood he should go to the sacrificial arena and describe 2 mantras to be chanted there. And Nabhaga executed the order of his father, and thus Anagira and other great saintly persons gave him all the money collected in the sacrifice. To test Nabhaga, Lord Shiva challenged his claim to wealth. But when Lord Shiva was satisfied by Nabhaga's behavior, Lord Shiva offered him all the riches.
From Nabhaga was born Ambarish, the most powerful and celebrated devotee. Maharaj Ambarish was the emperor of the entire world, but he considered his opulence temporary. Indeed, knowing that such material opulence is the cause of downfall into conditional life, he was unattached to this opulence. He engaged his senses and mind in the service of the Lord. This process is called Yukta Vairagya, or feasible renunciation, which is quite suitable for worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because Maharaj Ambarish, as the emperor, was immensely opulent, he performed devotional service with great opulence, and therefore, despite his wealth, he had no attachment to his wife, children, or kingdom. He constantly engaged his senses and mind in the service of the Lord. Therefore, to say nothing of enjoying material opulence, he never desired even liberation.
Once Maharaj Ambrish was worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Vrindavan, observing the vow of Dwadashi. On Dwadashi, the day after Ekadashi, when he was about to break his Ekadashi fast, the great mystic yogi Durvasa appeared in his house and became his guest. King Ambrisha respectfully received Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni, after accepting his invitation to eat, they went to bath in the Yamuna river at noontime. Because he was absorbed in Samadhi, he did not come back very soon. Maharaj Ambrish, however, upon seeing that the time to break the fast was passing, he drank a little water. In accordance with the advice of learned Brahmanas, just to observe the formality of breaking the fast. By mystic power, Vasamuni could understand that this had happened, and he was very angry. When he returned, he began to chastise Maharaj Ambrish, but he was not satisfied, and finally he created from his hair a demon appearing like the fire and is of death. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is this protector of his devotees, and to protect Maharaj Ambrish, he sent his disc, the Sudarshan Chakra, which immediately vanquished the fire demon, and then pursued Durvasa, who was so envious of Maharaj Ambrish. Durvasa fled to Brahmalok, Shivalok, and all the other higher planets, but he could not protect from the wrath of the Sudarshan Chakra. Finally, he went to the spiritual world and surrendered to Narayana, but Lord Narayana could not excuse a person who had offended a Vaishnava to be excused from such an offense. One must submit to the Vaishnava whom he has offended. There is no other way to be excused. Thus Lord Narayana advised Durvasa to return to Maharaj Ambrish and beg his pardon.
Thank you. We'll recite the Sanskrit now. Text one, yes. That's I think the focus verse also, I believe. Sorry. Shri Sukha Uvacha Na bhago na bhagapatyam Yam tatam bratrak kavim Yavastim vyabhajandhayam Brahmacharinam agatam Shri Sukha Uvacha Na bhago na bhagapatyam Yam tatam Brittatara kavim Yavastam vyabhajan adhayam Brahmacharinam agatam Shri Sukha uvacha Na bhago na bhagapatyam Yam tatam vratatara kavim Yavastam vyabhajam dhayam Brahmacharinam agatam. Would anyone like to try to recite? Shri Sukha uvacha Navago Navakyam Yam tatam bratara kavim Yavistam vyabhajandayam Brahmacharinam aga. Thank you, Nananita. Shri Sukha uvacha Nabhago nabhagapatyam Brahmacharinam agatam. Anyone else would like to try? If not, would you like to try, Mataji? Shri Sukha uvacha Nabhago nabhagapatyam Yam tatam bratara kavim Yavistam vyabhajandayam Brahmacharinam agatam. Okay, let's recite word for word. Shri Sukha uvacha. Shri Sukadev Goswami said, Na bhagha, na bhaga, na bhaga patyam was the son of Maharaj Nabhaga. Yam, unto whom, tatham, the father, Thara, the elder brothers, Kavim, the learned, Yavastam, the youngest, Vyabhajan, divided, Dhayam, the property, Brahmacharinam, having accepted the life of a brahmachari, perpetually, Naishtika, Agatam, returned. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Sukadev Goswami said, the son of Nabhaga, named Nabhaga, lived for a long time at the place of his spiritual master. Therefore, his brothers thought that he was not going to become a grihastha and would not return. Consequently, without providing a share for him, they divided the property of their father among themselves. When Nabhaga returned from the place of his spiritual master, they gave him their father as his share. Purport. There are two kinds of brahmacharis. One may return home, marry and become a householder, whereas the other, known as Brihad Vrata, takes a vow to remain a brahmachari perpetually. The Brihad Vrata brahmachari does not return from the place of the spiritual master. He stays there and later he directly takes sannyas. Because Nabhaga did not return from the place of his spiritual master, his brothers thought that he had taken Brid Vrata Brahmacharya. Therefore, they did not preserve his share. And when he returned, they gave him their father as his share. Very interesting. Okay, can we continue to read from text 2 onwards?
Nabhaga inquired, "My dear brothers, what have you given to me as my share of our father's property?" His elder brothers answered, "We have kept our father as your share." But when Nabhaga went to his father and said, "My dear father, my elder brothers have given you as my share of property," the father replied, "My dear son, do not rely upon their cheating words. I am not your property."
So this next text, I think, has a purport. We will also read the purport.
Nabhaga's father said, "All the descendants of Angira are now going to perform a great sacrifice, but although they are very intelligent, on every 6th day they will be bewildered in performing sacrifice and will make mistakes in their daily duties."
So short purport, if we can read that.
Text 4 and 5.
Yes, Mataji. Just my humble request is, Srila Prabhupada considered his purports as his devotional ecstasies. Sure, Mataji. Text 3. Thank you.
Nabhaga was very simple-hearted. Therefore, when he went to his father, the father, out of compassion for his son, suggested that as a mean of livelihood, Nabhaga could go to the descendants of Angira and take advantage of their misgiving in performing yajna.
Purport. Nabhaga was very simple-hearted. Therefore, when he went to his father, the father, in compassion for his son, suggested that as a means of livelihood, Nabhaga could go to the descendants of Angira and take advantage of their misgivings in performing a yajna.
Text 4.
I was just reading the purport.
Thank you.
So we're on...
It's a double confirmation.
Nabhaga's father continued, "Go to those great souls and describe 2 Vedic hymns pertaining to..." Am I reading the correct verse?
Yeah, you're on the correct verse. Yes, Mataji.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Pertaining to Vaishvadev. When the great sacrifices have completed the sacrifice and are going, completed the sacrifice and are going to the heavenly planets, they will give you the remnants of the money they have received from the sacrifice. Therefore, go immediately. Thus, Nabhaga acted exactly according to the advice of his father, and the great sages of the Angira dynasty gave him all their wealth when they went to the heavenly planets.
Text 6. Yes, now we're on text on 6.
Thereafter, while Nabhaga was accepting the riches, a black-looking person from the north came to him and said, "All the wealth from the sacrificial arena belongs to me."
Text 6.
No, Mataji. Text 6, yes, bro.
Text 6, right?
Yes, bro.
Text 7. Nabhaga then said, "These riches belong to me. The great saintly persons have delivered them to me." When Nabhaga said this, the black-looking person replied, "Let us go to your father and ask him to settle our disagreement." In accordance with this, Nabhaga inquired from his father.
Text 8.
The father of
Nabhaga
said, wherever the great sages sacrificed 8. Okay. All right. The father of Nabhaga said, wherever the great sages sacrificed in the arena of the Daksa Jarita, they offered to Lord Shiva as his share. Therefore, everything in the sacrificial arena certainly belongs to Lord Shiva.
Text 9. Thereupon, after offering obeisance to Lord Shiva, Nabhaga said, O worshipable Lord, everything in the arena of sacrifice is yours. This is the reception of my father. Now, with great respect, I bow my head before you, begging your mercy.
Lord Shiva said, whatever your father has said is the truth, and you also are speaking the same truth. Therefore, I who know the Vedic mantras shall explain transcendental knowledge to you.
Lord Shiva said, quote, now you may take all the wealth remaining from the sacrifice, for I give it to you. After saying this, Lord Shiva, who was most adherent to the religious principles, disappeared from that place.
Now we're going to read text 12.
If one hears and chants or remembers this narration in the morning and the evening with great attention, he certainly becomes learned, experienced in understanding the Vedic hymns, and expert in self-realization.
Om Ajnanathmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyatta Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this chapter is a very, very famous pastime. We have heard this so many times. But it's very interesting to read here. So we see actually here in this pastime that Nabhaga, who was the father of Maharaj Ambarish, he was such a simple-hearted person, when he was living for a long time, practicing the brahmachari the vow of brahmachari in his spiritual master's ashram, he developed really wonderful qualities of a brahmachari. And one such quality that he developed was he was very simple at heart. It is said that Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple. Once I heard that although Krishna consciousness is a very simple process, just chant Hare Krishna and be happy. But the determination to actually do that may not be as simple. So as we read, so Nabhaga, when he came back to his brothers and he wanted to enter Grihastha ashram, so which meant that he wanted some means of livelihood. So he asked for his share from his brothers, and his brothers, unfortunately, they took advantage of him and gave him his father as his share, because they didn't want to, I guess, part with their share. But his father Nabhaga, out of concern and love for his son Nabhaga, told him that your brothers are actually cheating you. So, and he wanted to help him. So that's when he tells him, go to this sacrifice where the descendants of where Angira Muni and the other Brahmanas are performing sacrifice, and there you can say these two mantras. Srila Prabhupada does not specify the details of these two mantras, so if anyone would like to comment on that, please do so. To be honest, I did not have the time to do that research, but maybe that can be my homework and our homework to find out more about those two mantras that Nabhaga chanted. Again, speaking on this aspect of simplicity, Srila Prabhupada said that this Krishna consciousness is simple living and high thinking. What would happen if someone is not simple? Would anyone like to comment on that? 1 minute, Mataji, for those on the online. The question is, what would be if someone is not simple in spiritual life?
Hare Krishna. I think it's often said the opposite of being simple is being duplicitous, so which is problematic in spiritual life. If we have something on the inside and something, so we're pretending basically.
Yeah, actually, thank you for a very nice point, Mataji. So it is in our Krishna consciousness, if we want to really develop these loving relationships with the devotees, there is this love and trust required. So what we speak is what is within our heart, so very, very important. Thank you, Mataji, for pointing that. Also, if we are too complicated, what will happen if we are, let's say if we are materially attached? The problem is it brings so much anxiety. I was actually recently listening to The Journey Home by His Holiness Radhanath Swami, and this is such a really beautiful book actually. For most people, they can, who are seeking, the Western mind is, it's like they go so deep. Someone who's really interested in spirituality, they see every event in their life, they go deeper and deeper. So in this book actually Maharaj was mentioning that how he had met so many gurus and so many spiritual teachers of various paths, and he had collected so many books, and he was really genuinely trying to learn something from each of them. And at the end of it, he had a big bag of books. And by this time, Maharaj was in the Himalayas, and if he had to go from one place to another place, he had to carry that heavy load. And he was thinking every day, I should just give these books up. So he would take out one book. Okay, this is by this spiritual teacher. Oh no, I have not read this book. Okay, I can't get rid of this. Then take another one. Oh, this is the only copy. I probably can never get this. So he would do this exercise every time. And he was not able to, give up all those books. So finally one day he was, I think, at the bank of the Ganges, if I remember correctly, and someone stole those books. And those books were gone. And then when he was walking after that, he felt, oh my God, this is so nice. I don't have those anxieties, that burden is gone. So similarly, in our spiritual life, it is said that when we don't have material anxieties, when we are not always thinking about me, mine, what is in it for me, Krishna consciousness becomes so much more easier to practice because we are simple at heart. But our focus should be the lotus feet of Radha Kalachandji. When we make that our focus, then it becomes so much more easy to practice Krishna consciousness. So this was actually explained in verse 3 of this, the simplicity aspect of Nahabhaga. Then as we go on, Nabhaga then goes to that sacrifice where Angide, so one may ask a question. I mean, they were doing this sacrifice, so how come they're giving up all these riches? Must be a lot of riches, right? Would anyone like to take a guess, or if they have any Shastric answers?
I think they went back home. They went to the higher planets,
Heavenly planets.
And they're left over. Yes, no?
Anyone else would like to? If not, what I heard is the enjoyment in the heavenly planets is much more subtler and is much more higher. That's why they were able to just relish, and they were able to just, okay, that's okay, we'll just give this riches to this Nabhaga. We have much more higher things to enjoy in the heavenly planets. That's what I heard from His Grace Burijan Prabhu. I think it was in his class. And then what happens? After this happens, Lord Shiva, he comes there. He's disguised as a black person. He comes from the northern direction. And when he comes there, Lord Shiva wants to test Nabhaga. And he says, these riches are not yours. These are mine. How come you are taking them away? And then there's a kind of a back and forth between Nabhaga and this black person who is actually Lord Shiva. And we read how then Lord Shiva says, okay, let's go to your father and settle this matter. So when they go to his father being a great person, so he says to him, no, actually the results of this sacrifice performed by Angira Muni and the other sages belong to Lord Shiva. He is honest. That's another quality of a Brahmana, very honest. In spite of he wanted benefit for his son, still he was willing to speak the truth, even if it meant his son would not get those riches. So, and then now we can see the other wonderful quality of Nabhaga. So first he was very simple at heart. Now we see how Nabhaga was not only simple, but he was also very humble. He said, okay, my dear Lord Shiva, you can please take all this. In fact, what does it say here in the text? He says, this is text, I think 9, where that conversation happens. Thereupon, after offering obeisances to Lord Shiva, Nabhaga said, O worshipable Lord, everything in this arena of sacrifice is yours. This is the assertion of my father. Now, with great respect, I bow my head before you, begging your mercy. So we can see, how humble Nabhaga is. Actually, it is said that this stage of brahmacharya is so important. When We can actually read more about this in the 7th canto, introduction. Not the introduction, let me take that back. Let me just pull that reference up, 1 minute. I don't think so we'll read it, I'll just tell the reference. This is 7th canto. Seventh canto, chapter 12. For the perfect society, 4 spiritual classes. There, a lot of emphasis is given on how a brahmachari, he goes and lives in the ashram of his spiritual master, and how he serves him menially, and he actually goes door to door begging alms for the spiritual master. And then even to the point that if his spiritual master thinks that he should fast that day, the brahmachari does not take any food. This is actually another funny story that comes to my mind. There was actually, this is a real story. It happened in Vrindavan. There was actually one lion. I think it's a lion, right? Lion or tiger, if I remember. This is again from the journey home. So there was this lion who had a spiritual master. Can you imagine this? The lion was obviously vegetarian, and this actually story is a true story told by the Brajbasis. So this lion had taken shelter of a devotee, and every day this lion would go door to door to the houses of the Brajbasis, and he can't knock on the door, right? What would the lion do? Growl. And the devotees would come out, and the lion had a bag around its neck, and the people would drop brajarotis. Like this, the lion would go house to house and finally collect the madhukari for his spiritual master and come and deliver it to the spiritual master. And whatever his guru gave, the lion would eat, that's it. Isn't that amazing? How Krishna consciousness is not just for human beings. Must be that lion must have been a devotee in his past life. So continuing from there, he must have done this. Okay, now coming back to this aspect of humility. So when Nabhaga, he took this humble position. What did Lord Shiva do? Lord Shiva, he was actually testing him. So then Lord Shiva said, okay, my dear Nabhaga, here you can keep all these riches. And then Lord Shiva just disappeared from there. So what we can learn from this is, if we take a humble position and follow our superiors, like in this case Nabhaga took mercy of Lord Shiva and he followed his father's instruction. So in the end he received all the riches. Very important for us to actually follow in their footsteps of Nabhaga. And this aspect of humility is actually said to be one of the pillars of our spiritual life. Unfortunately, sometimes in the Western society, people think humility is a negative quality. But actually, humility is said to be one of the crest jewels of a Vaishnava. There are so many instances in our scriptures where when devotees were humble, they received a lot. Would anyone like to share one or two such pastimes? I think yesterday Mother Nandini also brought this point up, but maybe we can share some other pastimes.
Prahlad Maharaj was so humble, right? His father was so cruel, and he'd still say, my father, O king of the Suras. He would speak to his father in such a respectful way, you know, and at the end, he got to see the Lord in this amazing form. And, you know, he got the darshan of the Lord. His Lord Nrsingadev.
Jai. Thank you, Nanda Braja Prabhu. Anyone would like to? Gokulananda Prabhu.
I was thinking about the pastime where Bhrigu, the sage Bhrigu, he was asked to take a test as to who is supreme among the trios, Lord Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva. So when he goes to Lord Vishnu, he physically assaults him, he kicks on his chest. So Lord Vishnu tolerates, not only that he tolerates that insult, but he's genuinely concerned that his foot might have been hurt because his chest is so strong. So that was the humility.
Mother Nandini.
Hare Krishna. I was thinking you were talking in some of the purports and the verses how the brahmachari goes and lives in the place of the spiritual master in the ashram. And I was thinking about Krishna Balaram and Sandipani Muni. They weren't brahmacharis. They took shelter of Sandipani Muni. But then in humility, they went out into the forest, right? And tolerated so much cold and rains and difficulty in the service of their spiritual master. So actually they both showed great humility before their teacher, Sandipani Muni. Krishna.
Lord Krishna was setting the example for the rest of the human society. Oh wow, look, Nayananvita wants to say something. Hari bol.
Amrish Maharaj.
Yes, thank you. We're going to read about that. Thank you, Nayananvita. You want to say something else?
And also Bali Maharaj.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay. Nanda Braja Prabhu wants to add.
Reminded by Gokulanandas, there's Yudhisthira and Duryodhana were asked by Dronacharya that you go out and you find someone who is less qualified than you. And Duryodhana came back and said, I went searching everywhere and I couldn't find even one person that was less, that was more qualified. No, go out and Duryodhana, you go out and you find somebody who's less qualified to you. Yudhisthira, you go out and find somebody who's more qualified than you, right?
Yeah.
The other way around, yes. So, okay, let's start all over. So, Dronacharya says to Duryodhana, you go out and find somebody who's less qualified than you. And then Yudhisthira, you go out and find, no, the other way around. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is ruined.
Let's just do the end part of it.
Okay. So Duryodhana goes out and says, comes back and says, I went searching everywhere for somebody who's more qualified than me, and I couldn't find any person. And he said, okay, Yudhisthira, what did you find? He said, I went out to find somebody who was less qualified than me, and I thought that I found one person that was less qualified than me. He was beating up a cow. But then I followed him back home, and his family was following a Kadasi. And I thought, oh, even this person is more advanced than me. And he said, Duryodhana, you aren't fit to lead hyenas, and Yudhisthira, you're fit to be the emperor of the entire world.
Hari bol.
That was a struggle. Sorry, all.
Mr. Bhagavan Prabhu would like to say something.
I can't remember his name. I think it was Agastya Muni. There was somebody a Brahmin that donated his bones to some demigods for a sacrifice. That's a pretty humble thing to do, right? Can I donate? Would you like to donate your bones? And then he said, oh yeah, here. Where would you like?
Hare Krishna. So, yeah. So thank you everyone for the nice examples and the funny ones. Would anyone like to say anything else? We are almost at 8:30.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu. I was appreciating your point about the simplicity. You mentioned how Krishna consciousness is simple for simple. And then I was thinking, once Srila Prabhupada spoke about this, I'm just paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact details. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. So most of these Smartas in India, they're so much used to rituals like yantra, tantra, mudra, puja. And then there are yogis, right? They're so much accustomed to practicing something very complicated like yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyanam, and finally samadhi. So it is so difficult, Prabhupada was saying, so difficult for such people to comprehend how something like chanting Hare Krishna can give you the topmost to the bottommost, you know. So he said, chanting Hare Krishna is so simple that you may lose the opportunity if you think that it is so simple and you just, you know, don't accept it.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Gokulananda Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. This was such a small purport, and you really expanded on it. I was really appreciating this point of the humility. I was thinking that Nabhaga had so many opportunities to complain, to whine about being ripped off. You know, you can imagine coming back and your brothers didn't give you your share, and you could complain about it and throw a fit and this and that. And he was just like, okay, what do I, let's move on. And then he comes to the sacrifice, and again he gets ripped off, right? My father said this, and yet he didn't complain, you know? And I was really thinking, this is the confidence that the devotee has in the Lord. You know, everything is Krishna's arrangement. Oh, I didn't get, it's okay. Let me just do the next best thing, next best thing. And then he got darshan of Lord Shiva. Could you imagine? Like Lord Shiva comes and plays a little joke on you and then gives you everything. I mean, oh my gosh, that must be amazing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Actually, I would like to end with this one small story about how if we are not humble, then this false ego can actually come into play. So this is actually a pastime about Mother Teresa. She was actually serving in the ghettos of Calcutta, So one time His Holiness Radhanath Swami, he went to just visit her monastery. And so the students of Mother Teresa took Maharaj. And he saw Mother Teresa, she was actually scrubbing pots. And she had so many assistants who could have done that. So when Maharaj asked her, Mother, what are you doing and why are you doing this? So she replied that when one does a menial service like this, it reminds them that they are a servant of the Lord. So this is so beautiful. Even whenever we do some services or we are in charge of whatever little square piece of service that we have, this false ego can really very easily come up. But if we take up to doing any menial service like this, then we are always reminded that Krishna is the only supreme controller and we are just his tiny servants. So I thought I'll end with that nice story. Thank you everyone. I would also like to say that whatever I spoke was only for my own purification. If any form or way someone thinks it is for them, please kindly forgive me. It was only meant. I am seeing this because I have all those anarthas in me, so I'm just trying to purify myself. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama